Well, what we have here is a frame from a Fiat 124 Spider convertible and a windshield from an Opel GT. Now, the project is going to be, and I'll show you here in a minute, all the pictures and all the test fit-ups that I've done so far on how this can all work together. But this isn't just about Opel GTs, and it's not just about Fiat 124 Spiders. If you have any car, maybe has roof damage, maybe somebody's tried a bad convertible top, or you just want to make a convertible top out of something, in the pictures coming up, you will see how it can easily go together. I'll show you here on the frame real quick, just so you have some rough measurements though. It's 44 inches across here at the top. On the frame, on the body frame, is 51. So that gives you an idea if you have another car that you're thinking about making a convertible. The real key here though would be the windshield height, which in this case is 19 inches. So if you have a tall windshield like the GT here, which has a 23.5 tall windshield, you're not going to be able to use it. You'd have to use it. You'd probably want to use either what I'm about to show you how to use this top piece, or you could shorten it up or do some other things. But what really makes it interesting is that, like I said, this one here has just bolts. It just bolts into the frame of the car, and it's easily the frame for the Fiat, as you'll see here in a minute, also just bolts into the side of the car. What you see in front of you is the carcass of Gordon Payton's Red Baron. I got a link to his videos in the description below. Gordon needed the doors and the roof to repair another project of his, and the Red Baron was the donor. The frame is bent and could never have gotten properly aligned, one of the reasons it's ended up here. That said, it makes for a perfect candidate for this convertible top mod, and I can do fit and finish work on it, and then once satisfied with the work, I could transfer it to another project car later. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when I do get to that stage, but for now, let's check out the Fiat frame and see if it's even a workable solution for this project. And here you have it, a Fiat 124 frame. And also the windshield rubber, windshield frame, which is in chrome, and then the back frame that goes to the body that holds the convertible top on. Well, right there at the bottom is where it mounts to the body. Just 2 bolts and your hinge is mounted to the body. And you can mount your frame right there. Everything else works. Now, what we have to come up with is this frame wide enough for a GT? And is it long enough for a GT? Well, I don't know. Let's find out. And one last trim part too that's going to look like it's going to work are these covers. These covers would go behind the wheel to basically be where the mechanisms go hide into. So that's already kind of figured out for us too if we go this route. Well, let's look at the other parts and see how they work. Well, here's the back frame. Roughly centering it up on the car here. It looks like we would have to do a little bit of body work, but for the most part, I'm going to say, yeah, that looks like that part of the puzzle will work. Obviously, we're going to need to do body work, but that's kind of goes without saying. Next step, let's see how that frame looks on this window, on the front of the car. Well, I don't have my support here to hold the camera, so forgive me if it gets a little crazy here, but you can see that this thing is about the right width. And if I go to about here, right there, and right here, we're actually about 2 inches wider than the GT, which actually would be a good thing. As we note here, there's just 2 bolts right there. We have all this framework in the GT right in this body right here. And if we were to cut right around here and get that to come into this body and fit that line, I don't know. It's looking a lot promising, more promising than I even imagined or dared hope for. let's get the frame on and see how the frame fits. All right. Well, I don't know about you, but it's just a little bit big in all the right places. I do think to get that window back to meet the GT door, I would have to possibly split this front piece right here and extend it. Let's see what the other side says, because it's not perfectly lined up. I'd love to have two hands right now, or four hands and another body, basically. So that one is almost showing me that it could be about the same size as the GT door. Well, I guess the next step is, I don't have any spare doors here, but I do have another GT with a door on it. Well, the curve is almost a spitting image. A little wider, but we know the frame is a little wider, so the frame would come in here, right along in that area. Of course, the doors would be cut off, but they would have a seal. The seal would come from the frame or the windshield, because I already got one built in. The rear window would seal to this here. Yeah, again, it's looking like a split there. Drill 2 holes and keep playing with it and trying to put it in. So now I got the top frame here, and with the curve, it looks pretty good, but I think I was right that this will not work with the Fiat windshield. But I could cut that frame off. Cut the frame right here. And then cut the windshield right here. And then weld that to the windshield frame. That's about as far as I can go right now. I got a windshield in the shop that I could put the GT windshield into the Fiat frame and see how that plays out. Alright, so I guess let's go back to the shop. Alright, so we're back at the shop, and I got the windshield out of storage here to see how it fits on here. I have a feeling this is going to be long though. And so if you set this sucker in the windshield just like you do on a regular GT, that's the corner, that corner's fitted. And we are about 6 inches long, it looks like. So obviously that means this frame is going to be long. Frame out here. Trying to match the curve. We already matched the curve on the car, and the curve is really, really close. And here, it's really, really close. In the middle, it tends to dissipate a little bit as it goes out here to the edge, which will be fine because we may have to make a few modifications to and then make a few modifications to this frame. But what we can do is look here. As you see, this is where the hook is normally mounted for your convertible top. What we need to do now is measure this, and it is 38 inches across. And of course, as long as we're within that same space here, and the windshield would be right there, so 38 inches across. 37.5 for the glass. It looks like 36.5 for the glass itself. But that would be with the rubber and everything else we saw on the body. We have a little bit of extra space here. I think this could be used. So I think I know exactly what I'm going to do. And that is, I will probably bend this a little bit. It's made out, looks to be made out of steel. So a little heating, a little bending would work. And again, could take part of it and chop the middle out of it and make that curve work a little bit better. But always to have better to be a little bit long and kind of trim it back to fit than to be a little short and then have to figure out how to extend stuff. Okay, so these are the pictures of the Roadster that I did 5 years ago. Now, the guy bought it as a Roadster and he needed a motor, so he brought it to me and I did the motor for him. But then it turned into a much bigger project because the car was a real basket case when it came to everything about it. Rear end, wiring, torque tube, front suspension, rear suspension, everything had to be replaced. And I even did the body work to get the paint on it. He's always wanted to have a convertible top on it. And so I have a project there that can work. And so I guess the next process here would be to get the Roadster in. And once we get it here, then I can start the process. Looks like we'll do the same thing. It's already been done on his car. You're using Manta A-pillar chrome trim along with the A-pillar rubber from Manta A. That's how we fit his, as I see in this picture here, how we fit his windows into the car, because the GT is not standard frameless car. With that, we're done with the fit up phase, and if you would like to subscribe, that'd be awesome, because I will be doing this project probably in the summer or spring of 2021, so you'll get notified when I do that project. If you're interested in how it all goes together, it should be pretty straightforward. Everything I'm looking at, it shouldn't be a whole lot of welding, and it should be pretty simple to knock out. I guess we will find out. Until next time.